What is up, guys? Welcome to the second live episode of the Rantcast. Alright, so guys, today we are going to be revisiting a topic that we originally discussed. Do you remember when it was even?
I don't know. I thought it was like not too long ago, or I don't know, maybe a couple episodes ago. I can't remember.
I kind of remember it being the same one where we talked about the new iPhones just a little bit. We're going to be talking about the HomePod today. So, if you guys don't already know, this was originally supposed to launch this month with the iMac Pro, which the iMac Pro still isn't out now. So, hopefully that's still going to be a thing at some point in the month. But the Apple HomePod was supposed to be launched this month. I'm going to try to get the Apple website loaded up here right quick. Going over to music into the HomePod, and originally when they announced this, we did say that it kind of looked like a cat scratching post, which...
It kind of does.
It does. See that? You can totally see that right there. But now you see this change to available December to available early 2018. I did read a thing, or someone made a video about it. I think it was actually Talos of Tech did a video of it. And that's actually where I originally found out that this was being delayed at all. Pretty much the only thing that Apple has really said about delaying the HomePod at all is that they want it to be, quote, perfect for when it launches. But I mean, if that was their whole intention, how come this launched the iPhone X? It launched with iOS 11, and Brandon, you're probably better off staying on iOS 8 for now, because iOS 11 is just so full of bugs. It is so ridiculous.
I just updated the iPad to iOS 11, and it
instant
is just,
regret.
Oh my god. Yeah, I regret it completely. I bought into it because it kept pestering me. Hey, go update, and I'm like, sure, I guess so. Totally regret it. Just today, I was flying the drone, and I was on the DJI app, of course. And the reason why I got the iPad was specifically because the DJI Go app, which is the app that you use to fly your drone with, worked better on iOS. Because before that, I was using a really crappy Android tablet or my sister's phone, and because I didn't want to lose my jailbreak on my iPhone, I didn't want to update past iOS 8. But anyway, see, I got an iOS device because I heard that the DJI Go app works very well on iOS devices. And when I had iOS 10, it worked very fine. It was great. It was perfect. Today, I took it out to fly. The DJI Go app crashed at least 6 or 7 times, which I've never had any issues with it before on iOS 10. Now, it could just be the app itself being stupid because, I mean, it's not really that great. I'll say that, but... I don't know. I think it was also iOS having something to do with it as well. Because like I said, when it was on iOS 10, I never had any issues like that before. It could be both. It could be both the app and iOS 11 being stupid. But yeah, if you are on an iOS device, on any Apple device out there that is running iOS, but anything before 11, don't update to 11 right now. Just it's a serious mess. It's just awful right now. Hopefully it does get better, and I assume it will, but right now at its current state, yeah, don't try it. Just skip it. Skip it till now, or till later.
Skip it until now. Brandon Mendel 2017. There you go, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. iOS 11 is, I've already said this already, but it is full of bugs. Everything Apple Pro said this in one of his more recent videos. It was actually... I don't know if you heard about this, Brandon, but there was a whole thing with iOS 11.1.2, I think. I can't remember. But basically what happened was at midnight on December 5th, I think it was, or at 12:15. It was sometime around there. But I was lucky enough to not have to deal with this, but a bunch of people that had iPhones on iOS 11, this was only the iPhone X that was really affected by this also, but what happened was the iPhone would just pretty much put itself into a boot loop, kind of like the LG G4 did back in the day when that was like the newest LG flagship. But what would happen was it would go into a boot loop, and I can't exactly remember why, but it had something to do with apps that would send you notifications at like set like time intervals, you know? You kind of know what I'm saying here? But
Yeah.
Apple was pretty much like, "Oh, this is a thing. Okay, let's push up the iOS 11.2 release to now instead of whenever we were originally going to release it." So that's what they did, and I don't like. I have a couple gripes with iOS 11.2. Okay, so here's the thing. I have the iPhone 10 right here. Okay, I have the leather case on it. It's a great phone, except for the freaking operating system and all the bugs that are on it right now. So here's the thing, guys. When I first got this, it was on 11.0, I think. Then I updated it to 11.1, or whichever one was the latest on November 3rd when this got shipped out to my house. Pretty much what happened was every night I would turn it all the way off. I'd set it on the wireless charger, turn it all the way off, and then it would just charge being off. Now with this new operating system, iOS 11.2, I'll put it on the wireless charge pad, turn it off, and it'll just come right back on and just stay on until I take it off the wireless charge pad. There's no way you can charge wirelessly with the phone off anymore. But why?
Oh man.
It doesn't make any sense. They took out a thing that was useful. I guess in a way it was useful. Because you guys know what happens if you leave a phone on or a computer or freaking even a PlayStation. My PlayStation almost had a heart attack the other day, but that's another story for another time. If you leave any computer thing like just running for too long, it'll eventually start like glitching out, or I mean I've had this happen multiple times with my MacBook where it'll just like you'll do the simplest task like open the lid and it'll just sit there with the backlight's on, you know, but nothing's on the screen for like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Like, and it's amplified on Windows even.
Oh yeah, I deal with that all the time too. So I have to at least make it a routine to pretty much restart my computer about every few days, you know, just to keep it healthy, I guess. Because if I don't, it just, you know, just doing a very mundane task is like, you know, logging in becomes kind of slow, especially before I did the complete clean restore and stuff like that. I mean, it was very bad, and you could just go watch the other rantcasts of where I rant about Windows, and you'll totally see what I mean by that. But yeah, it kind of sucks, but yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guess we're on the topic of Windows now, but that's okay, because I've had even more issues with this freaking PC back here since our last episode. I didn't even tell Brandon about this, so you guys are going to get to find out right now with him. The Fall Creators Update. Oh boy. Alright, here's what happened. I turn on my computer, and it just sits there doing that stupid boot screen for about a half hour. And I'm sitting here like, okay, this is what happened last time when I had to restore it to its basic settings with no apps installed and only, like, my files were there. I had to reinstall all the applications. If you guys don't know that story, the episode we put out last Sunday, I think it was, it's in there. Just go listen to that, and it'll pretty much explain what happened. But it happened again, but this time it didn't, like, crash. It brought me to my login screen, so I log in, and it says Windows 10 Fall Creators Update is ready to install. So I'm like, okay, but why did it just take a half hour to boot when it usually is like, press the power button, 10 seconds I'm into the operating system? Why did it just take 30 minutes? Alright, so that was the first sketchy thing. So I go, okay, let me update to this. Maybe this will, like, actually fix something. It didn't. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. So here's what happened, the full story. I go to install it. It sits there downloading, you know, it downloads pretty fast. I have, like, 250 megabits a second, so it's, like, downloaded in 5-10 minutes. I'm like, okay. I go to install, and it does, you know, the classic Windows Update screen, and then after like 3-4 restarts, it'll go, and it brings up the Brandon, I'm sure you know what this looks like, but it'll bring up the screen that when you like you first install Windows 8 or 10.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hi, we're getting some updates ready for your PC.
Oh yeah.
This will take a while. It even said this will take a while. If I have a picture of it, I'll put it on the screen. In the edited version, of course, not the live version. Terribly sorry, guys, but that's just how it's gonna have to be for now. But after that whole thing finished, this was like multiple hours later. I literally start the install at like 4 p.m. And then at 10 p.m. it finally finishes. This is just like rough like time frames. It's not exact, but you know, it eventually finally finishes installing. And my lock screen is set to the Windows default backgrounds. So I'm like, oh, ooh, okay. So there was already a big red flag there. It turned out to be fine. I just had to set it back in settings. But why did it change to begin with? Mac doesn't do that when you update it.
Yeah, mine changed too. I noticed as well. I kept it with the Windows default backgrounds because they're okay, they're decent. But I hate how it changed automatically without, you know.
It didn't even ask. It's just like, oh hey, here's our default ones. We're trying to compete with Apple over here. And guys, like, here's the thing. The picture that I use for my lock screen is the same picture I took last December of that like river. It was like cloudy out and stuff. It's actually what's on my desktop background on my iMac. And my iPhone as well, actually. Let me show you that really quick. This picture right here. I took that last December with the Galaxy. It looks pretty solid. So I set that as the lock screen. But then it went back to like the slideshow of default Windows pictures just out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay. I guess I'll have to change that back. So I go in, I sign in. I put in my PIN to get into my user. And it does that whole... that whole installation screen again, you know.
Really?
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be here for at least another 2 hours, and then it skips like all the stupid like in between messages and goes from hi, we're getting updates ready for your PC, and then literally like a second later it goes, let's start, and there's my desktop with everything there. But then this is the worst part of this whole story. A big red window shows up saying, your Windows activation will expire soon. I have absolutely no idea where my Windows 10 key is, and my activation's gonna expire soon. So...
that really sucks.
There's Windows for you guys. That's how they get you. I don't know, dude.
That really sucks. I don't know why it would show it as being expired. What did that computer have before? Did it always
it had 7, but I updated it to 10, and like I said, I have no idea where my 10 key is.
Oh yeah, because I think with 8 it's like 10 key is actually inside the computer digitally stored in there somehow, but I think with 7 it's actually like a tag.
Oh yeah, there's a tag on this for 7, so I think what I'm gonna do is as soon as my 10 installation expires, I have a Windows 7 disk, so I'm gonna put Windows 7 Ultimate back on that and just be done with all this.
That's a good idea. That is a really good OS. Yeah.
I don't use that computer for gaming. And guys, like I said before, this isn't a trashy computer. It's got 16 gigs of RAM, quad-core i7, dual 500 gigabyte hard drives, dual optical drives. It's got a graphics card that isn't in it right now, actually, because I can't use HDMI with it. But, you know, it's not a bad... It's not like a $100 Sam's Club special. It is a decent computer. But it's the operating system that kills it.
Yeah, exactly. Seems like that's the biggest problem that you're having with it. I mean, I think once you get 7 on there, I mean, it's going to be a done deal. It'll be a pretty nice machine. But yeah, I mean, all Microsoft really needs to do is just take 7, just update it a little bit, make the appearance look a little bit more up to, you know, modern standards. You know, you could still keep the flat theme and everything, maybe just make things look more consistent. And that's it. That's all they need to do. But they keep adding like new crap, and they don't fix their old bugs. This is what I've noticed with this new Fall Creators update. I mean, they probably did squash some bugs, but it seems like some new bugs emerged from it as well, because they keep adding new crap that I don't use. Like there's something called the people bar, and I mean, unless you're an avid Skype user,
Tell me what that
think
is, please. I can't figure it out. It's just there.
So, like, you could add your Skype contacts to it, and I think you can message them directly from there. And it'd be a fine concept if it worked with other things besides Skype, like maybe Messenger, or I know this would never happen, but let's say there's a way you could get iMessage to work on Windows, which I know
that's never gonna happen.
Yeah,
Apple will never let that happen, and I bet you Microsoft wouldn't either.
I know.
Steve Jobs is gonna like show up just as a ghost at Microsoft and be like,
grave. Yeah.
Dude, I bet Steve Jobs would have a lot of stuff to say about what Apple's doing right now. I know, guys.
He'd be so pissed. Yeah.
He would not be happy. He'd be like, "Wait, how many iPhones are out now? We have the 6S, the SE, the 7, the 8, and the so there's 5 iPhones out right now that you can buy, guys, and that's not even including like the Plus models of anything." And then I don't even know, dude. What do you think he would do if he came back and saw everything?
He'd be so pissed off. Oh my god, like.
Because if you guys...
It's just not the same Apple anymore, really. I mean, I still like them enough where I'd probably buy their products, but like I also hate them enough where I don't know. If Steve Jobs was alive today, he wouldn't really be too happy if where Apple's going in.
No, if Steve Jobs had never died, iPhones would still probably honestly look like this. This is an iPhone 3G from way back when. Okay, they probably wouldn't look exactly like that, but they'd probably be around the same, like, size of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, see how small this is in my hand? I can, like, wrap my whole hand around the thing. And now, here's it next to the 10. There you go. Big difference here, and especially with the bezels, too. Come on, turn on. Yeah. Come on, there you go. I don't know, dude. Some of the changes that Apple has made to all of their products since Steve Jobs died, like, have been nice. Like, I really dig the dual camera system on the 10. I dig the screen on the 10. And despite what everyone says about the notch, you don't notice it after like a minute of using it. At least in my case, I used it for a minute and I was like, oh, that's still there. And the reason being, guys, because the screen is such a taller aspect ratio than your normal, like, 16:9 on the iPhone 6 and 6S and all that, you don't notice the notch as much because it's literally still a taller aspect ratio than something like this. This is a Galaxy S7 Edge, and this phone is one of the ones that has a 16:9 aspect ratio, as you can see here. How about I say this? Everyone complaining about the iPhone 10 notch, go look at the Pixel 2. I think we might have lost Brandon here. Are you still here?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, solid.
I lost you for a second there. I think I hear you.
Yeah, we're sketching out with Skype here a little bit, guys. Give us just a quick second. And we're back now. Terribly sorry about that, guys, but Brandon's kind of on the other side of the country here with not the best internet, to say the least. So
that really bad rural internet that really sucks. Yeah, I still have it. I'll probably be having it for a few more months yet too. So yeah,
but then he's getting fiber and he's gonna make my internet look peasanty.
I can't wait. I said that I think the last Rantcast or maybe the one before, but
I'm pretty sure it was the last one.
I'm so excited for this new internet because I'm tired. Like someone decides to stream something downstairs. Good luck on my connection up here.
Can you guys tell that the quality on his Skype call is a little bit lower than it was a couple minutes ago? That's usually what happens when someone starts streaming in his house. Well, yeah, we gotta deal with what we have right now. At least I'm actually able to stream now with the new iMac and stuff. Okay, what were we talking about? I already forgot.
Pixel 2's bezels, I think.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna get the Pixel 2 website up really quick here, so you guys can all see. Pixel 2. Here we go. You guys ready to see this? Alright, now, before any of you say anything, yes, I've used a Pixel 2 before. It's not a bad phone. There's some really strong points about that phone. The camera's freaking amazing. The speakers are also really good. It's just why are there so many bezels on it? Check this out, guys. Let me put the screen up here. Alright, here we go. The all-new Pixel 2. So they removed that very blue color from the original Pixel. And okay, this is the Pixel 2 XL. What? It's like it's trying to be a Note 8, but it's not working too well. Also, I don't even know if they even show the normal Pixel 2 anymore. Where are we at here? Here you go. All right, check this out, guys. Do you see? I mean, at least they're not wasting the bezels this time because there's speakers in it now. But what? Why? It's what year? 2010? No, sorry, 2017. And there's bezels this big on a phone. Even my Galaxy has smaller bezels than that.
That was my one problem I have with the Pixel 2, because I think the Pixel 2 is a really good phone. Well, it's pretty well rounded.
It's a solid phone. The stock Android
just
experience is awesome, by the way, guys. If you don't know the difference between, like, Brandon knows, but if you guys don't, Google owns Android, okay? So the Google Pixel isn't made by Google itself, though. If I remember right, Huawei made the Pixel 2 and LG made the Pixel 2 XL. And HTC made the original Pixel last year. But regardless, you still get stock Android with the Pixel. That's the one upside to that phone. Like on Samsung, you're getting their TouchWiz skin. On LG, you're getting whatever they're doing. OnePlus has something. I can't remember what it's called, but that's the one. That's also another thing with Android that it's not as optimized as iPhone is, and obviously it's like for good reason, because this has been addressed multiple times in older episodes, but Apple controls their hardware, they control the software, and they control the optimization for the iPhones, meaning that when iOS 11 came out, they didn't push the update down to the iPhone 5 because they knew that the iPhone 5 is 5 years old now, and it just wouldn't be able to run iOS 11 the way that it's supposed to. And
it's 32-bit too, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the other thing. The iPhone 5 and 5C actually were the last phones to be 32-bit from Apple. And iOS 11 is a 64-bit exclusive operating system. So the oldest iPhone you can get it to run on is the 5S. And I've heard on that it doesn't exactly run like a dream. It's pretty laggy.
Yeah, I could see that, because it's pretty laggy on the iPad Mini 2, and
is that a 2 or a 4?
Or 4. I'm getting confused here.
Hey guys, wait, let me see the home button on that.
It's got this.
Oh, okay. Is there a side switch?
A side switch? I have the volume buttons, and this here, I don't have a side switch at all, no.
Okay, so
or whichever, yeah.
That's the 4 then. That's the latest iPad Mini.
That's the one, yeah.
But
I don't know why I said 2.
Well, here's the reason though, guys.
Yeah, it shares the same hardware as iPhone 6. I do know that. It has the same.
I think it has the A8. A8X. I'm gonna look really quick here. Mini 4. So, like, what do we have here? Does it not tell you anymore? Where is it? They're like, hey, this is running the same processor that our HomePod is. Maybe we shouldn't be so upfront about it. Unless it's not. I don't know for sure what processor it has.
I thought the HomePod.
Oh, okay. It does.
A8.
It does have the A8.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the HomePod also runs the A8 too. I know that.
So there are 3 devices here. Hold on just a second, guys. All right. iPad Mini 4. This is the one we're talking about here, okay? A8. Oh, hold on. There you go. A8 with the Mate coprocessor for motion, you know. But the whole thing is though, the iPhone 6, the phone Brandon has, also is running the A8. The HomePod, a speaker is running the A8. the 6th generation iPod Touch is running the A8, so it's a pretty dated processor, at least by today's standards. I mean, even the A9, this was back in the iPhone 6s days. And the A10X is a solid processor. It's pretty much the A11 at this point. But wow, I didn't know it had an A8.
Yeah, it seems like everything's running A8. They must
every
really like that
every
processor,
budget.
I know.
Well, it's a good budget processor, I guess, for like cheaper devices like the iPad Mini. But my friend actually has an iPhone 6. One of my friends has an iPhone 6 Plus, not a 6S, just a 6. And he updated it to iOS 11, and it runs super slow. Like,
Oh yeah.
I tried to like swipe across his home screen, and it felt like I was using my 4S. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
it just runs really bad. You know, that's another reason why I don't want to update my iPhone 6, because I know that this runs pretty much the same hardware as the iPhone 6, and it's going to run just like this. So, you know, I'm just holding off on the iOS 11 update until basically the bugs are out.
The thing with your iPad is though, I think it has an extra gigabyte of RAM than your iPhone has. I think.
Oh yeah, so it's probably. I thought I heard something like that too.
Like
that it's still a little better than the iPhone 6's processing capabilities due to RAM or something else. I don't remember what though.
The original iPad Mini ran the A5 processor, which is actually I think I still have it back here. Oh yeah, here you go, guys. Here's a real blast from the past. The iPhone 4S. This was my dream phone when I was 11. I wanted one of these so bad. And this thing, guys, this is a brick. Look at it. But the point I'm trying to get at here, this had an A5 processor, but it only had a half a gigabyte of RAM. Now, the original iPad Mini, the first generation that came out in 2012, also ran the A5 processor, but it had a gigabyte of RAM. And this running iOS 8 is so slow, but the original iPad Mini on iOS 9, because that's the highest you can update it to, runs a lot smoother than this, and it's just that extra 512 megabytes of RAM that makes a difference. So, a brief lesson
RAM
there
helps
for
a
you
lot.
guys. Oh yeah, dude, I have 32 gigabytes of RAM in my iMac. This thing hauls. It's awesome.
Yeah, RAM will definitely work miracles, because I mean, even with my computer when I updated it from 8 to 16, I mean, I did notice a definite performance upgrade for sure, especially with video editing. It's not perfect yet, but it's decent for, you know, how much I paid for that upgrade. So RAM will work wonders, I tell you. Yeah.
While we're on the topic of RAM, let's talk about how Apple price gouges you on RAM. All right, so I've told Brandon this before. I can't remember if I've ever mentioned it here, but when I went to order this iMac last year, I picked the highest processor, highest video or graphics card rather, and then I went to select 32 gigabytes of RAM, but then I was like, wait, that's an additional 600 for RAM.
Oh my god.
That's more than I spent for the higher end graphics card. Why is it $600? So I go on Amazon, I find the exact identical RAM that Apple uses for $200. A full, well, I had to buy two 16 gig kits because that's just how that works, but they were $100 a piece, and I upgraded the RAM myself for $200, and with that $400 that I saved, I think I bought food or something. I can't remember.
I don't blame you. I'd probably buy food too.
Food's pretty solid. Come on, you can't hate
I
on
know,
me for that.
exactly. You can't hate on it.
Yeah, you know, it's great. But regardless, guys, like I said, I've experimented with Android. Here, S7 Edge. I had an S5, but it's broken, so I can't show you that. I've experimented with Android. It's great for the first, 2 months you have it, and then it's like, oh man, I really should have got an iPhone. That's literally exactly what I said when it started, failing. I've experimented with Windows. I actually played around with the idea of building a PC instead of buying the iMac after my whole Mac Mini issue happened. But then I before I actually ordered the iMac, I was using a not this Vostro because I didn't have it at the time, but it was that Inspiron back there. You can kind of maybe see it a little bit, but it's chilling right over there. I was using that. It had 6 gigs of RAM, i3. I think it was a nightmare. But I decided not to do it because I was like, oh, hold on, what about Final Cut? How am I supposed to edit my videos? I mean, granted, I do have the whole CC 2018 collection now, but at the time I didn't. And I still don't even use Premiere to edit videos. Guys, I still use Final Cut. I don't really care much to switch because I have all of my templates and stuff. They're archived in a Final Cut library, so I can just copy and paste it into the projects that I'm working on, like for my intro, my outro, my watermark. All that kind of stuff is just templated, so I can just copy and paste it onto my current projects that I'm working on. And on top of that, Final Cut is super optimized for macOS. Like, you guys don't even know. I can sit here editing 4K video, 60 frames a second, full uncompressed preview quality, and it will not drop a single frame. And then it'll just render it so fast. And then you jump over into Premiere. Granted, they did improve it with CC 2018, but it's just not the same experience. It's a little bit more like stuttery. It's kind of like you're trying to watch like 8K video off YouTube with integrated graphics. I know what that's like. Ooh.
That's bad. I've experienced that before a long time ago.
The one thing though, here's my big complaint with Final Cut, okay? Final Cut is a $300 professional video editing program, and it does not support HEVC, which stands for high efficiency video compression. It's also referred to as H.265 sometimes. But Final Cut doesn't support that. But you know what does support that? iMovie. Yeah.
That's weird.
iMovie is free. It's pre-installed on every Mac that you will buy, and if it isn't pre-installed for whatever reason, it's already there as a free download in the App Store. Premiere and After Effects, I think starting with CC 2017, also now support HEVC. I could be wrong with when that started, but I know for sure CC 2018 does support HEVC. But Final Cut still doesn't. So basically what that means is if I film something at 4K 60 on my iPhone, and at HEVC, it will compress to about 600 megabytes a minute at 4K 60. But as soon as I import it to Final Cut, it bumps it to H.264, which is a less efficient video compression codec. And then it takes up 1.5 gigabytes per minute. So I'm hoping, guys. There's rumors there's going to be a new Final Cut by the end of this month, with actually the same like color correction abilities that Premiere has. Which, if that's true, you know, I hope
that'd be pretty nice. That'd be a pretty interesting too. Make your workflow much easier too. You know.
Because what Final Cut offers for color correction now is some of the worst excuse for color correction I've ever seen in my life. It's awful. It's like Apple's pretty much neglecting their pro users by saying, hey, we're going to give you guys H.265 support in iMovie, but Final Cut? Nah.
What if they don't need it?
Go over there.
I don't know. I don't have that much experience over Final Cut, but I did hear it's a really good 4K editor, which is
Final Cut's
really nice.
Final Cut's amazing, except for Apple's like neglect to it. The last time it was updated was in May. That was like a number of months ago. I don't know. It was a while ago.
Yeah, that's a while back. Yeah. That's kind of sad.
It is. But I'm still gonna be using it. Back over summer of 2016, I messed around with what I had at the time was Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. I edited 15, 16 videos with it, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to Final Cut. Okay, don't get me wrong, guys. Premiere Pro is a great video editor. I like the way that it talks with After Effects, Audition. The Adobe Media Encoder is also sweet, but it just comes down to, I've been using Final Cut since 2014. I have a bunch of templates, bunch of presets, just all saved there. And converting that over to Premiere, basically what I would have to do is just start over. I'd have to make all of them all over again. And it's just...
That's just like, that's exactly my story, but with Sony Vegas. Like, I've been using Vegas since 2014 as well. And the main reason why I haven't done a full switch to Premiere is because I have templates. And for siren videos, which involve a lot of audio, Vegas has a really nice workflow how it treats audio and stuff like that. Where Premiere it's kind of okay with it, but it's not as good as Vegas in terms of audio editing. In fact, Sony Vegas, a little history lesson, started off as an audio editor and then eventually sort of became more of a video editor. I don't know if it was an audio editor on release, but I do know at least on beta or alpha stages it was going to be a audio editor. And so for siren videos, it's great, but for basically anything else, I'd probably recommend Premiere as being the best video editing software because of how well it talks to other Adobe products like Photoshop and After Effects, especially because otherwise I'd have to like render out something out in After Effects, and I don't want to lose much information when I compress it down. So if I save it as a lossless format, it's a 5-10 second video clip rendered out in After Effects could be like a couple gigabytes, and obviously I don't like doing that. Whereas in Premiere, I could just, if I remember correctly, you just import in that After Effects file, and it just talks to it very nicely, and saves me time, saves you on your workflow and everything. It's a well-rounded piece of software, but I can't fully transition over to it because of how used to how I can't even talk tonight. I'm just so used to Sony Vegas that I just can't fully transition over. But I'm trying to, but it's hard.
I almost made the same mistake with my mic again, but
Oh no.
Ooh, that would have been bad. Anyway, though, guys, Brandon pretty much is having the exact same scenario I'm having, except I've never used Sony Vegas before, so I don't know what it's like. From what I've seen, it's kind of a editor. I guess it all comes down to personal preference at this point.
Yeah, it's not really like the mainstream editor right now. It's more kind of, back then especially, Sony really neglected software updates on it and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, probably because they were like, ooh, PlayStation guys, we gotta beat out Xbox.
So eventually they got bought out by another company called Magix. I think I don't remember what other kind of software that they've developed, but they basically bought out that part of Sony's products. And now, if you ever look for Vegas, it's not called Sony Vegas anymore. It's actually called Magix, Magix Vegas, and it's basically gave Sony Vegas a new life and updated it, made it look nicer. Because Vegas was definitely the ugliest video editing software ever. You look at it, it looks like it's straight from the late 90s.
I'm going to argue you with that. Go look at Final Cut Pro 7.
Final Cut Pro 7?
Yeah. You know what? Let me show you guys this. In case you didn't hear what Brandon said, he says that Sony Vegas is the ugliest video editor ever. Hold up.
Oh, man.
You guys ready to see this? You ready to see some classic stuff from way back when? Alright, Brandon, I'm sorry you're not going to be able to see this, but...
I'll look it up through some screenshots here on Google
Look
Images.
at this. Oh, man. See, this is what the QuickTime player used to look like on, like I had a really old version of it installed on my Windows XP box from before I switched to Mac. But do you see this right here? Wow. You know what? Just so I get a refresher.
Okay. Just to make sure that I'm seeing the same thing as you are. This is like, it looks really gray and has that metallic sort of look.
Yeah, okay. It actually looks really similar to Vegas. I'm looking at it right now. What is this? Sony Vegas for $600, $700 from Dell?
Yeah,
bro.
It's stupid expensive. That's why I think a majority of people don't get it legit.
Hey, full disclosure, guys. I have CC legit. Here it is, right here. There, bam. Adobe Creative Cloud. Oh, you can't. Oh no, you can't see it. There you go, right there. Final Cut, let me open up my purchases on the App Store right quick. Where even is my App Store? There it is. Alright. Let me just head over to my purchased here. I'm just proving this to you guys, okay? Because I know you're going to be like, he doesn't have it legit. But I do. I do. I bought it in here. You ready for this? Bam. Final Cut Pro Apple, December 27, 2014. I've also got a bunch of other trash in here, but Final Cut Pro. I bought it.
Not to get off subject, but looks like one of my lights just went out, so...
Oh, boy.
I know, isn't that just amazing?
Hey, we're having a great time with technology here. Oh, should we tell them what happened?
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. You could start if you want.
All right, so while Brandon's getting his lighting in order, let me tell you a quick story here. All right, so we're about to get in a call, or this call right now that we're in now. We're about to get in it. We get in it. There's absolutely no audio from Brandon. It's just like this like staticky sound. So I'm like, Brandon, boy, I can't hear you. And he starts talking, and I'm like, dude, I can't hear you. Just text me. So he texts me, and he's like, can you not hear me? And I'm like, no, I can't. Well, I can hear you. And I'm like, that's great. I can't hear you, though. So he relaunches Skype. That doesn't help anything, of course.
That doesn't help.
So then what he does is actually, he was smarter than what I would do at this point. He opens Audition, tries to record from the onboard mic on his laptop. It's just a flat line of static in the waveform. Like, you probably actually saw it in the background a second ago. But it was this, except, like, you see if I stop talking? It was like that, and he was talking, but it just wouldn't do anything. So what happened was then, we were like, or rather, he was like, okay, I think my microphone died. That is what you thought, right? I already can't even remember.
Yeah, I thought my microphone died, so I don't know if I talked about this before, but, like, my computer that I have now, for the most part, it's been pretty reliable. But there is one big issue with it, is that the hinge sucks ass. And there's a lot of things that are kind of connected inside of that hinge, and that being the touchscreen wires, the wires for the webcam, and the microphone. And right now, my touchscreen does not work because that hinge is broke, and it kind of like puts some stress on that wire, you know? And I was thinking that my microphone might have been cut off for once, finally, which is pretty sad. But the weird part is that my video quality was really good. In fact, Sam texted me like, hey, your video quality was pretty good tonight. And I'm like, wow, that's a shock because that never happens. And so basically I was pretty much set on that probably my microphone is finally kicked the bucket, or at least the wire has. So just to make sure it's not software or Windows 10 or whatever, I decided to restart my computer. And so, I restart, takes a little while, and, go back on, open up Audition, try to do another test, and strangely enough, it worked again. So I don't know what the issue was really there, aside from, that would have to be a software-related issue for sure. Maybe some driver crashed, or just Windows 10's being stupid like usual. I don't know, but yeah, it was really weird, because we almost didn't have this, we almost didn't have this Skype show tonight, at least on this computer. I was almost about to do it on my iPhone, which in some ways might have been better, at least in terms of video quality.
That is true. But Brandon's new excuse for everything now is going to be Windows 10.
Yeah, if anything happens, it's Windows 10.
Brandon, why are you late to work? Oh, Windows 10 made me do it, boss.
Windows 10 did it.
It's like that song, but instead of gangster rap, it's Windows 10.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, that was awful. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Now we're going to start calling this show the Cancer Cast.
Cancer Cast? That actually is a really good title. Maybe we should start calling it the Cancer Cast.
That'll be like once every year.
It's just going to be us. It's just going to be us dabbing for a whole hour. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Let us know if you guys would like that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Don't, because we're not going to do it.
We'll do that. Right around New Year's, we're just going to have the dab cast, and we're just going to, dab.
No, for New Year's, I'm setting off mortars in my bedroom, and it's going to be sweet.
Oh. No, yeah, go ahead and do that then.
No, the whole thing is
That
though
might be a little bit more interesting.
the whole thing is I would actually be the guy to do that. That's the whole thing. All right.
All right. So basically, what I did now, I've just changed my lighting environment here. So iPhone is got the flashlight on. I don't know if
iPhone
that
coming
helps
up
or not.
clutch? No, it does.
Okay, and then the second screen here is just a picture of just whiteness. It's just completely white for the most part. Full screen picture.
Guys, we have been pioneering in the most ghetto rigged setups for the last year.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa,
Ours is
my voice.
It's so good.
It works though. That's the whole thing. Like if you
know.
guys don't know how I have this set up, I have two like stand fluorescent lights. The one over here is being bounced off the wall because it's a lot brighter than the one on this side. But look, my lighting's even. And then I have my Christmas lights back here for accent lighting. And it looks decent, I guess. I mean, it could be better, but hey.
It works, right? Oh, I forgot. I should have put my little mini Christmas tree up there too, you know?
Oh, okay. Christmas special, you'll do that.
Oh my God. Yeah, Christmas special, we'll do that then. Oh,
If we end up doing a Christmas special, yes, that's what we'll do.
Okay, so now I've got the iPad. It's going to be my third source of light. Now, obviously, the iPad doesn't have a little flashlight on it, so I'm just going to look up another white picture here. Like
you know what?
one.
You know what would have
It's
a
a little hard.
flashlight? You know what would have a flashlight? The iPad
We'll
Pro.
have it. Damn it.
Oh, he's getting triggered, guys.
Damn iPad Pro. Put a flashlight on the iPad Pro.
They also put the A10X in it.
Them little, I tell you. How much is the iPad Pro anyway? I know it's like stupid expensive.
I think it starts at like $700. Hold on, I'm gonna look right quick. You know what? You guys can look with me, so you know I'm not like lying to Brandon here. All right, here we go.
Oh, because he totally lied to me. You gotta watch out. You gotta keep him in check.
Here we go. iPad. Bam. Here we go. iPad Pro. The 10.5 inch will run you, or for the 64 gigabyte capacity.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not gonna like this, dude.
How much is
$650.
it? What the hell, man?
That's so cheap. What happened? You know what, guys? This also brings another thing. I remember when 64 gigabytes was the highest, like, most, like, ooh, I really want that big of an iPad. But now it's, like, the peasant version.
Well, even when I bought this thing, this was surprisingly cheaper than I thought it would be, you know? But
yeah, iPads are getting really cheap. I mean, even the 512 gigabyte, well, I guess $1,000 for an iPad isn't cheap. But
well, when I bought my thing, my tablet, like I was thought about just going with an Android tablet or something, you know, because those are usually a little bit cheaper. But then I saw how cheap this was, and I'm like, well, I'll just go for that. It runs better on iOS, the GGI Go app, because that's the only reason why I really bought it. So, you know, why not?
yeah, and
yeah.
I mean, iPads are like I'm probably never gonna buy one because I would probably use it for a day, then it would just sit right here doing absolutely nothing, and it would be a waste of however much I spent on it. That's
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have a use for a
yeah.
tablet. If you have a use for a tablet, buy one. I don't freaking care. I just don't have a use for one. That's the only reason I don't have an iPad.
Yeah, I wouldn't have bought one if I didn't have the drone.
That
But
and my
it's just-
MacBook is pretty much the
Yeah.
same size as an iPad. I
the
really
MacBook
need to
will
buy
probably-
a new MacBook.
And the MacBook would probably give you a better experience than, I mean, you have more things that you could do on there than you could with an iPad.
Well, yeah, but it's the baseline 2013, 120. Yeah, that's another thing, guys. My iPhone has double the storage capacity my MacBook has.
Wow, that's crazy.
I've got 128 gigabytes on that MacBook running 2 operating systems, so that's the most fun time a guy can have. Trying to run 2 versions of macOS on a 128 gigabyte SSD. Every time I update macOS, I have to delete Final Cut to free up enough space on the SSD. Yeah, I shouldn't have skimped on storage, but I had to because Oh, you know what? Speaking of that, before I forget, Brandon was talking about the cord for his built-in mic and webcam in his laptop going through the hinge. My black MacBook had the same thing, but it was the display cable. So now, literally like half the screen is just nothing unless you like hold like the bezel in the right position to get the connection solid. That's why I had to buy a new MacBook Air, and also like the BIOS was doing something sketchy and the hard drive.
That's never good.
It was just not good. And the MacBook Air wasn't really a big problem until this year when the High Sierra update dropped.
Oh boy.
So the next MacBook I buy, I'm not skimping on storage, I'm not skimping on the processor. The processor in that is only clocked at 1.3 gigahertz and it's dual core.
Ooh.
To put that into perspective. Okay. Do you see this, guys? This phone. It fits right in my hand. This doesn't have 2 cores, doesn't have 4 cores. It has 6 cores, and it's a phone, and it has 3 gigabytes of RAM. And it's this. Granted, it was really expensive, but and that's not even like that's not logical cores either. That's physical cores. There's 6 cores in this.
6 cores, man, that is ridiculous. Because I think I only have 4 cores on my computer, so. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah, your iPhone has 2 as well. Like, they were like super like conservative about upping the processor cores until the 7. They were on dual core from I think the 4S all the way through the 6S and the SE, and then the 7 they were like, guys, we got it. A10 Fusion, 2 performance cores. 2 efficient cores, and then the iPhone 10 and 8 come out with the A11 Bionic, and they're like, all right, 6 cores. There's gonna be 6. My only problem with it is they put in 4 power efficient cores and only 2 performance cores. I don't know why they didn't just do like 3 of both of them, but yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. It's
still
fast.
Pretty crazy.
It's still fast.
Yeah, I only have like 4 cores. I mean, I think it's like that Turbo Boost thing. I think gives it like 8 logical ones, but there's only really
that's
4.
hyper-threading does that.
Or hyper-threading, or whatever it is. But yeah, I'm looking at the device manager right now, and it's really 4. It'll show 8 on here, but I know it's 4. I know this is not an 8-core machine.
Yeah. If I don't know what I would feel like if that was 8-core, because if you guys don't know, the iMac I have has the i7 6700K, I think. I know it's the 6700K. But that's only a quad-core processor, but it has that hyper-threading, so it has the 4 physical cores and then 4 additional logical cores with hyper-threading, clocked at 4 gigahertz. And it's not a bad thing. This computer is really fast, but I feel like it's going to be like another year or 2 and it's going to feel slow once macOS Low Sierra comes out next year.
Low Sierra. Then there's going to be the Mid Sierra too. You can't forget that one. That's going to be a game changer when Mid Sierra. No,
here's the question though: is Mid Sierra or Low Sierra going to come first?
I don't know. That's a really serious inquiry you got to give to Apple. It's
look, guys, Brandon used a big word.
I know. Oh my god, that's the biggest word I've used probably in any Rantcast period, any Rantcast episode period. See, I'm skipping words, but I can use a real big word. See, I really can't talk tonight. It's been really, just
it's been really stressful with his computer like almost having a stroke on him.
Well, that morning morning. The beginning of this Rantcast episode has been a very stressful experience. We'll say it that way. And look, another light just went out. So.
Oh man, I mean, we've been going for almost an hour, dude. That's crazy.
So basically, I'm trying to concentrate on the Rantcast, and then I'm also trying to concentrate on my production ability here, my really ghetto rig that I've got here. So if you look at me, sometimes I'll be looking down. Okay, when I'm looking down, I'm actually looking at my voice recorder. Okay,
hold it up so they can see it.
It's right down here. So I'm not like doing something mischievous down there, okay? I'm literally looking down there so I could see where I'm at and if I'm clipping or not. And so far I've done pretty well, but still, it's just been one heck of a night. Too much to concentrate on, so I can't talk right at all. My performance sucks. I'll agree with that, but yeah.
His performance,
yeah.
his performance sucks like Windows 10's performance. Oh,
Exactly.
boy.
I'm at Windows 10 level right now. It's too much to concentrate on right now.
Oh,
But yeah.
man. We've already been going for almost an hour, dude. This is crazy.
I know. My recorder is at 58 minutes right now.
Oh, guys, we did. Here's the whole thing. All right. I'm looking at OBS. I've been recording for an hour and a minute, but we've only been live for 58 minutes. That's because I always start recording like before to like clap so I can sync the audition file up with the OBS file later on if need be. And then we check a couple other things and then go live. So that's how we do that. That's why the live stream hasn't been going for an hour. But yeah, I think we went way off topic of what the title said.
Oh well, that's how it is.
You guys should know this by now. We've been doing this since July with still the same can of Monster back here, guys. If you don't believe me, waha, there you go. Same can, always here. I don't really think I have anything else to talk about for this episode. You got something you want to say?
Not really. Not for this episode, really. I really can't think of anything. I'll just have to wait till Windows 10 crashes the next time, and I'll talk about that for like 5 hours.
Eventually, this show is just... We're gonna, like, exhaust all topics except Windows 10, because there's always something new that happens
There's always something new going on with Windows 10, and it's never anything good.
I mean, iOS 11 is kind of stepping into that range now, too.
I know, it's gotten that... Basically, any operating system that I have right now, Windows 10 and iOS 11 on the iPad just has been a real big pain in the butt.
Hey, macOS High Sierra is solid, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't update the iMac downstairs to that, so I don't get to experience that. All I get is El Capitan.
El Capitan was the worst, dude. Okay, that's another story for another time, though, guys. I can go
talk about that later.
Forever on that operating system. It was so bad. Oh. iOS 9, too. What was up with that?
I don't know. I never experienced iOS 9.
iOS 9 was, like, the weirdest, like... It was like they, like... It was kind of like they were taking iOS 8 and then, like, oh... What, it's September already? Okay, we gotta go, guys. Let's just launch it as is. I just never felt like iOS 9 just didn't feel the same. Like top-notch quality. Yeah, iPhone 10 joke, don't even. But it just wasn't the same, like, high-quality, like, pristine, clean experience that you usually get with iOS. It never felt like it was finished fully, I guess. And now phones like the iPhone 4S, the original iPad mini, they're stuck on iOS 9. You can't go to 10 on those.
No, that would suck, because I did have
iTunes running on my iPhone at one point, but that just made it die. That's why I had to get a new one. That's the real reason he doesn't have the iPhone 5 anymore, guys. He tried to run 64-bit macOS iTunes on it, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, I know. It just decided to just explode and blow up and everything, but yeah.
It went Note 7 mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a bomb. It's a ticking time bomb. Actually, one thing I could talk about is actually the battery. I recently replaced my iPhone 6 battery.
Oh, yeah, you gotta talk about that.
Yeah, that was a interesting experience. So, like, before, when I had the iPhone 5, you probably heard there was a battery recall on it. And because I got that pretty much free, I just had Apple do that for me. But this was my first time actually taking an iPhone apart. And, I mean, surprisingly, it wasn't as bad as I thought. But, man, I could have swore I was going to break that thing. I thought I was going to snap a ribbon cable. Because, those are a big pain in the ass sometimes. But, surprisingly, besides just one thing, it was pretty easy to do. Apple has these weird adhesive strips that are on the battery, which actually do a pretty good job of keeping the battery, held together very well. Because I don't think the iPhone 5 had that, and basically if you did a battery change, you can hear it. If you shook it around, you might even hear the battery rattle around a bit. But anyway, taking those strips out can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, because if they don't come out right, you're going to have to go through a lot of misery just to get that battery out of there. And I've seen videos and horror stories of that. So luckily I didn't have that many super big issues, but it was very stressful. And then once I got it all together. It was still not too bad. I think I didn't pay that much for the battery either. It came with the tools as well to open it up. So, I mean, it was much cheaper than having Apple do it. And then the closest Apple certified repair place, whatever you want to call it, is up in Bloomington, which is about an hour and a half north of me. So, that's more money I have to spend on gas and stuff like that. Plus, I think the $60 or $70 that you got to pay for it to get that battery replaced. And so I just did it by myself, and it's a pretty nice experience. You do have to be very careful on the insides and follow instructions very carefully, but it was much easier than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to be doing is my sister's Samsung, because that battery just is much more worse condition than my battery was. So
hold up. What kind of Samsung does your sister have?
It's the which one was it? It was the Galaxy. It came out in, I think it was the...
Google searches, what phone does my sister have?
I think it was the S6.
Is it the Edge or just the S6?
Just the S6.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the S6.
If you're going to replace the battery in that, be really careful, because it's not the same as it is on iPhone. There's no screws. You're gonna have to melt adhesive with like a heat gun. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? God. We should live stream that just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, we actually almost live streamed this battery replacement too. I mean, I was still pretty stressed out with this thing because I mean, if I F something up, it's gonna be a much more costly repair, and I'm gonna be out of a phone for a few days.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I know. It still
You're
sucks.
gonna be out of your phone.
At that point, I'd probably just buy a new phone, but still, I was still pretty stressed out. My sweat was rolling down. It was easy and smooth, but still, oh my god.
He caught his sweat just before it dripped into the circuit board and killed it.
I know, exactly.
He was like, oh, that was a close one.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was just about as big of a challenge as getting that battery adhesive strips out. Like,
let me talk about this really quick, guys. Back in July, yes. I replaced the battery in my iPhone 5. This is the original right here. It was either the 5S or the 6 that introduced those pull tabs. With this, actually, I think I might still have the thing I broke out of the phone. Hold on. Do I? I know I put it in here. Oh yeah, here it is. Check this out, guys. All right. So quick story time. This right here, is it gonna focus? Well, you get the idea. This is a pull tab that says authorized service provider only or something like that. It says authorized service something only. It's broken off of where it was in the phone, so I don't know exactly what it originally said. Wow, there's a bunch of SIM cards in here. I don't know why there's that many, but anyway, listen, guys. I was pulling up on that tab because, that's how you get the battery out. The tab freaking snaps off the phone. So I'm like, oh. Okay.
Oh, no.
I'm just sitting there just like...
Uh-oh.
And let me tell you guys, I've said this in an earlier episode, the iPhone 5 battery was so terrible. I had the... I still have it back here too. Yeah, here it is, guys. This is the launch edition iPhone 5, the silver one. There's a nice dent in it on the back. That's tight. But this is the launch edition iPhone 5. Look how small this thing is. Anyway, listen. For those who don't know, the iPhone 5 had a battery recall when it was first announced, or after it was announced, and this one was never taken in. So you would you'd charge the battery to 100%, and then just in a half hour sitting in your pocket in standby, it would die. It was that bad. I was lucky enough that it didn't swell. You can see it's still pretty much at its original thickness, but it was awful.
It would get hot too. I noticed as well. Like
mine didn't ever get too hot.
It would just get really hot too.
I don't know. Maybe I just got lucky with mine. But here's the thing. So I get the tools. This is back to when I broke the tab out of the thing. So I start trying to pry it up, and I'm like, oh wait, hold up. What if I puncture it? That's gonna be
Oh, no.
bad.
Oh no, yeah.
Because I've purposefully, like, you know, smashed a lithium-ion battery with a hammer before. I have videos of it on my channel, I'm sure, from back when Smokes Here was a thing. But regardless, I eventually get it out. I melted it with the hair dryer, actually, and then I pried it out with a plastic tool and almost threw it across the room. But then I was like, wait, it's still charged. I don't want to do that inside. But then I dropped the new battery in it, you know, connect it, bam, put the screen back on, and that was it. About a week later, I pick it up and I'm like, hold on, did something just move? So I shake it and I hear the battery inside it just shaking around, and I'm like, oh, man.
So that's from the broken tab then that caused that to happen?
No, it's because the adhesive only sticks once.
Oh,
And I wasn't
okay.
thinking, so I open it back up, almost breaking the ribbon cable in the process of it this time. But I grab some scotch tape, loop it around itself, and stick it under the battery. And, if you listen, I'll turn the gain all the way up. You ready for this? There's, okay. There's no shake. There's no, like, clicking in here. The scotch tape held. The scotch tape held the battery in place. And this does still work. Like, it's not turned on right now, and I'm sure the battery's even dead. You know, let's find out. Bring back some memories. Hey, check it out.
Oh, that's nice.
It works. It still works. But yeah. So there's the story with the iPhone 5. This is the iPhone that recorded the original episode of Smokes Here in July or June 2014. It's the iPhone that I recorded my first 1080p video on that got put on this YouTube channel. So this is a really historic iPhone to me. I'm kind of sad that this dent is in the back of it now, but that just kind of like gives it character a little bit, I guess. But yeah, that's the story of this iPhone, guys. It looks like we lost Brandon here, so I think that's where we are going to call this episode quits. Guys, that is going to be it for this live episode of the Rantcast. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that if you haven't already. And until the next video, guys, that is going to be it. So thank you for watching.